There it is.
Boom.
Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Today we're
Boom.
going to just go ahead and kick this thing off. You
Oh,
ready?
okay.
Here we go.
Go for it.
Yeah.
The Insurance Pro Show is a podcast for agents who want to grow their agency and be titans of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the Insurance Pro, James Cias.
There it is. Gotta love it. Yeah, that makes it easier since it's just us and we don't have the guest to introduce today. We'll just go ahead and, run the video and then remind you to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a review, help us show up higher on those search results for any agent that's looking for stuff. I don't have my script open, so I'm not totally not reading it. But
to help us rise up.
To help us rise up, in those podcast rankings. Just listen, ladies and gentlemen, ad-libbing it here. Follow me on all my social media. Like, subscribe, drop a review. We're here to provide value. We're here to have some fun. We're here to, help you expand your network. If you want to be on the show, we're here for you. We're here to provide value as much as possible. So if you want to be a guest on the show, go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest. I'd love to have you on, learn from you, and again,
right,
subscribe, like, review, and
speaking
follow.
of bringing value, today's topic is 5 simple ways to avoid E&O claims. Brought to you by AmericanAgentAlliance.com. That's where the article comes from. And dude, let's talk a little bit about why avoiding E&O claims is such a big thing. Have you had any stories that you would like to share with the audience about getting hit with some E&O claims?
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple, right? There's been a couple in our history. It's bound to happen when you have an agency. A lot of times, agents can go several years without getting any E&O claims. I don't know if any agents have never had an E&O claim. Maybe they have, but it depends on the size of your business. The larger you get, the more likely it is that you're going to have an E&O claim at some point. But some of the ones that we've been through, not to get into any details, but they're long and drawn out. It's a process. It's lawyers going back and forth with each other saying who said what and what said who, and what all the issues that are going to come from it. And when it comes right down to it, we have E&O insurance, and it protects us. It allows us to be covered. It allows the legal fees to get paid and all that stuff, but we're still going to be out of pocket whatever our deductible is. So call it $1,000, $2,500. I think $7,500 is the deductible that we have right now. So the higher the deductible, the lower the premium. But whatever. This is what you're going to wind up paying. I don't necessarily want to get into like stories.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard in that case, huh?
Yeah,
but in general, here I'll give you one of our latest ones, and this is an example of some of the stuff that could happen. We've had COVID come into play, and when people tend to lose their jobs or they have to close their businesses down, oftentimes they resort to the things that could cover some of those losses, and it could be things in your insurance policy, whether they're in there or not. This is one of those things where you want to make sure that you're covered, because when that happens, we have a similar situation going on right now where a client says, hey, I'm supposed to be covered, and it's clearly stated that they're not covered for these particular perils. And this is where the battle happens. It's a dispute on what you believe is covered and what is not covered. And you as the agent have these errors and omissions. For those of you who don't know what E&O stands for, and sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes you forget to disclose something. That's what errors and omissions is for. So we're going to tell you what we've come up with, or our opinions on some of these 5 simple ways to avoid some of these E&O claims, to make sure that you're not put in a situation where it's he said, she said type situation, and try to avoid as many E&O claims as possible. Again, those things are going to happen, but if you have processes in place, if you have systems in place, you're going to minimize the amount of exposure you have once an E&O claim is submitted. So you're never going to, especially if you live in California, we're in a sue happy state. That stuff's going to happen almost at any given time. But with your processes in place, you have the documentation, you have the signatures, you have everything that you need so that if this ever happens, here's my case, Mr. and Mrs. Attorney from the insurance policy, running our claim. Here's everything you need to know, done deal, and we're minimizing those legal fees going forward.
Yeah, minimizing our exposure there. I mean, and that's really what we're going to get into in this article is what things can you do as an agent to make sure that your legal exposure, your litigation is as smooth and easy as possible. So let's go ahead and kick that off. Tip number 1 is do your own due diligence. And when we're talking about due diligence, we're talking specifically about the company that you're writing the policy with. So it's your job as an agent to investigate the financial standing of any company whose products you're selling. If you're selling insurance for non-admitted carriers that are rated B or C++ or whatever, these are the policies that you are selling to your customers. You want to make sure that whatever company that you're selling, that they're rated higher. I mean, I wouldn't want to go anything lower than A, I mean, that I was in school once and I didn't get great grades, and I knew how bad of a student I was. If my insurance company was as bad as I was as a high school student, that's not the company that I want. So let's go for the one that is, A rated, AAA rated. I think it goes up to like 4A plus, whatever. So this is your job as an insurance agent to make sure that you're writing business with companies that are reputable, companies that are actually going to pay out in claims. I'll throw this out there. Some of my favorites, just because Chubb has one of the highest payout rates from what I've heard, from some of the stuff that I've read. Chubb has one of the highest payout rates. So if you are writing a policy with Chubb, you can, pretty much bet that they're going to get paid on that stuff when they file their claims. And those are the things that you're really looking for when it comes time to file the claim. That's what it was. Insurance doesn't matter until it comes time to file a claim, right? That's the truth of the matter. Insurance doesn't matter until it comes time to file a claim. If you are a customer, if you're the insured and you go to file a claim and you find out it's not covered, you're going to be pretty upset. I
mean, that's what it comes down to, right? And this is when you're talking to clients the same way. I mean, we have a client right now. I'm trying to convince this person to get home insurance. I know it sounds crazy, but they own their home free and clear, and they don't necessarily want to go out and sign the paperwork and do all that stuff. Do you understand the risk that you're putting yourself into? And that's a deliberate choice that's happening. Sometimes when things happen, we don't think we need insurance until that situation happens. And that's the scariest part.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure that when you're doing your due diligence, you are reading and reviewing, do some research on these companies that you're selling. If you don't feel comfortable with the paperwork, if you don't feel comfortable with the company that you're selling, don't sell that product. Just straight up, don't sell. There are some companies, and I'm not going to name them. I'll name the good ones. I won't name the bad ones. There are some companies that I just won't sell anymore. Even though I have access to them, I won't sell anymore because of the experience that my customers have when they go to file a claim. So do your due diligence, research the companies that you're selling, and make sure that you're selling some quality companies, quality products from quality companies.
Not all appointments are the same, right? Not all appointments, not all carriers are the same.
That's right. All right, moving on.
2.
My personal favorite. Standardize policies and procedures. I mean, we're talking across the board. And you know what? Have we figured out our landing page yet?
I have constructed it. I haven't put it.
All right.
Together, but I do.
We're coming. This is exciting. I'm excited.
Close.
I'm super excited because I know that it's coming this week. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to give away the Golden Goose. We are going to give away our standard operating procedures, our policies and procedures, what we do, what we use, the things that the operations that we have in our agency. We're going to give that away to all of you who want it absolutely free. You can utilize it, you can modify it, you can change it to fit your agency. It's going to be what we do. And so this is one of the things that as an agent, as an agency, you can make sure to do to protect yourself from E&O. Even if you're a one-person show, even if you don't have, if you're a solopreneur, you don't have any employees, you don't have anybody else working for you, you're doing things all on your own, doesn't matter. Standardize your own policies and procedures. Record yourself doing the things that you do as if you were going to hire someone, so that you have these things written down and you can say, okay, well, every time I write a policy, these are the steps that I go through. Every time I talk to a customer, these are the coverages that I tell them about. Every time that I write XYZ type of policy, an auto policy, a homeowner's policy, these are the endorsements that I include. Standardize those things and make it so that this is your common practice. One of the questions that the carriers do come back and ask when they file a claim, if it's a disputed claim or anything like that, they will ask you, what do you normally do in this situation? What is your standard practice? If you don't have one, that's not a good look for you. It's not going to be great for you on your E&O. So make sure that you standardize your policies and procedures. And this is everything from for us, some of the things that we're working on is standardizing even our phone scripts, right? What do we say when we're on the phone? How do we answer the phone? What do we tell customers when they want certain things done? But it's not just that. It's also what types of coverages, again, do you offer as a standard? What types of notes do you keep in your database? Do you take notes in your database? Do you have an agency management system or a CRM where you can write down the conversations that you have? Do you keep a copy of those conversations? Do you keep copies of your text messages and emails? Right? These are all communications with your customers that you have. You should have a record of. Even if you're talking to them on the phone, get into your agency management system, type up a quick note. Today, I talked to Bob about the payment that he needed to make on his auto insurance policy. This is the information that I gave him. Did he make the payment? Yes or no? Whatever. Moving on. Okay, take the notes, standardize those things, make sure that you have a system to even take complaints, right? If somebody's not happy with the service that you or your agents are providing, make sure that you have a system to address those things.
And I know it sounds like a lot, right? You're an independent agent and you're thinking, holy moly, this is a lot of stuff that I got to do. And this is why for us, developing a lot of these protocols, a lot of these systems, a lot of these standard operating procedures, there are hours and hours and hours that have been put into this. Our system has so many automations. I mean, there's so many different things that automatically pop up to ensure that you have the checklist of things that each person in our company has to do as the policy moves through the pipeline. All the way up until binding. And we don't want you to have to start over this whole thing. So I don't have the landing page set up, but here's what I want you to do. If you're interested in getting a copy and you know that this is something that is that is interesting to you, so you can start to standardize your stuff. Because look, a lot of these things are to help you prevent E&O claims, but they also help you generate more business. When you have a process in place, it's smooth all the way through. And I don't want you to have to create all that stuff. So here's what you're going to do. I just want you to write SOP in the comments. So just drop down SOP in the comments and we will make sure to send you via DM the link once it's ready to go for you to download our standard operating procedure. So you have these things in place. So you don't have to create it from scratch. It's something that's already created. And there's a ton of insurance agencies out there that, maybe let you learn their system. Probably if you come and apply with them, spend thousands of dollars to get started. We're going to give it to you for free. This is how we operate. We want you to operate in the very same way so that you have a successful practice. And here's the hidden agenda, right? If we treat you really well, maybe you'll consider coming with us. But we're going to treat you really well, help you generate revenue, help you avoid E&O claims, and ultimately give more money in your pocket by giving you a lot of the tools necessary to kick off your agency. So just write
more
SOP
money
in the
in your pocket, more money in your pocket, and protect that money so that it keeps coming in.
SOP in the comments, and we'll send it your way.
Heck yeah.
Number three.
Train your staff. So this is exactly what we have excelled at, honestly, in our business. I'm telling this story through our week-long soap opera sequence, right? So I started yesterday. I continue in the story today. Check on LinkedIn. Oh, I forgot to post it on Facebook, but I'll post it again on Facebook here. So tune in to find out the things that we did to help set ourselves up so that we didn't lose any more appointments. And one of them is the SOPs that we're talking about. The other one is exactly this. It's training our staff, but it's training the staff using the SOPs, right? Because if you are just training the staff to wing it every time, what good is that? It's the same as you winging it every time. When you have standardized policies, when you have standardized procedures, when you know exactly what you're going to do every time this XYZ situation comes about, that's what you can train your staff to do. And that's the term that we use, or the phrase that we're using, is elimination of variability, right? Mm-hmm. Eliminate the variability. Don't allow different the same situation to be handled differently every time. You want the same situation to be handled the same way every single time, and that's what you need to train staff to do. One of the things that you can do as an agency owner, as a business owner, is to develop a training checklist. So when you join Pipeline Team of San Diego, that's exactly what we have. We have the training checklist. We have it all figured out. You know, it's one video after the next, and you just click from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and you get through every single one to make sure that you're getting all of the training that you need. And then we document it. We have it. We have our checklist. We have our check-in times when we discuss the training that has been accomplished by the agents. We are getting ready to integrate a quiz, a testing system, so that when you complete a certain number of videos and have gone through a certain type of training, there's even a little quiz at the end of it. So, I mean, this is all stuff that we're doing.
And here's the cool thing about what you've already said so far, by the way. This is where scalability comes into play. Like, you got into business. Again, you got into business not to have a job for the rest of your life. You got into business so that you can grow something, so that you can take a vacation for some time and then come back, and the system is still operating without you. The ship is doing better than when the time you left. And it comes with a lot of these systems in place, you know, and we're still automating everything along the way, because we still have, there are still variables in the system, and we're trying to eliminate them one variable at a time. But one of the greatest benefits of having this training system in your staff, right? Having that checklist of things that your employees need to do, having those training videos completed, having the quizzes done, this is going to really help you attain some of those great appointments that you're looking for. Because when you sit down with a rep and they're asking you about your processes and your systems, and you show them the full training manual that you have, what your expected, what your employees are expected to do, how you hold them accountable for each step, how you know what level that they're at, what they know and what they operate and what they're able to do, you literally have it laid out for them. So when you sit down with a carrier versus when you're first getting started in insurance, you're like, hey, can I sell your product? Yeah, no. Right? Versus now you have a full-on system in place, and this is what you're doing to help implement, the sales process of their particular product. They feel like their appointment is well taken care of. It's an appointment that they're willing to give to you because you have a system in place to do that. So yes, it helps you avoid those E&O claims, but it's also going to help you create a system in place so that you can get those appointments, so that you have more options for your clients, so that you're getting better deals for your clients, so that you're finding them the insurance products that they need at a better rate, and increase your commissions. Because remember, the better that you're doing within your agency, which is including things like, losses and maintaining retention on your book, all those different things. When you have these trainings in place, when the variability is thrown out the window and you're focusing your attention on just improving the system that you have, and then teaching your staff to operate the system they have in place, whole different ballgame. That is a true business.
Absolutely. And the last thing that I want to add to that is the training that you do with your agents or with your staff. Make sure that you record it. Okay. I mean, you can record it on video, because now a lot of our training is Zoom, right? Some of you might have an office and you might be operating out of your office. Again, great. Congratulations. That's awesome. But take record of it, write stuff down. Have I actually have for our biweekly team meeting. So we have two types of team meetings. We have one that's every morning to see what's going on for the day and, take care of that stuff. But we have a bi-weekly one that is a little bit longer. It's, the every morning one is about 15 minutes. The bi-weekly one is about an hour long. And that one, it's a full agenda. Okay, what are you working on? What can I help you with? It's a whole agenda. And basically, keeping track of those things and knowing what you have talked to your agents about, so you can always go back and say, no, look, I did train them, I told them to do this way, and help avoid those things. So you've done everything that you can, and you have a record of everything that you've done.
All right, number four,
stay current. This is something that only you can control. Right? This isn't something that anybody can do for you. This is your job as an agent to stay up to date on all the different laws and ways that insurance is changing, because it's constantly changing. We've seen instances where customers wind up with bills for thousands of dollars because their agent did not get the officer exclusion form signed for workers' comp. Right? We've seen this happen. And then, there's not much of a defense at that point. As an agent, you made an error, right? You did not, or an omission, whatever you want to call that, right? You did not do that due diligence and get that additional form when the law changed in 2019. If you have not talked to your business customers about SB 1259, is it 1159?
It's 1159.
1159. If you haven't talked to your business customers about that one, do a little bit of research, read up on that, reach out to your clients so that they know, hey, if my employee contracts COVID-19, these are the steps that I need to take. This is what I need to do. If you have not made that, communication, if you haven't done that communication with your customer, these are the things that could potentially wind up landing you in court and saying, hey, well, I didn't know, right? That's not an excuse. If your customer doesn't know, that's your fault.
Yeah. And then what about something as simple as keeping track of your staff's license renewal dates? Like, those are things that are coming up. You shouldn't get a notice saying, hey, my license expired this month. That's a little too late, right? You need to have things in place so that you're getting notifications ahead of time. So you can start talking to your staff saying, hey, you need to finish your CE. Your CE is due, coming up here soon. So we want to make sure that your license is up to date. Because the last thing you want in staying current, right, is somebody who's knowledgeable in insurance, is doing all the right things, but has a lapsed license, right? Who shouldn't be writing insurance anyways. So, having the systems in place for you to stay up to date, or having, making sure that you're reading up on new laws is absolutely important, but also staying current in what's going on within your business. Who is the person who's talking to the clients? Make sure that their licenses stay up to date. Make sure that, that they're attending all your regular kickoff meetings. So James does the agent support hour every day. Those are places where agents can get questions answered, where they can get things up to date as far as what's going on with particular changes in laws, all these different types of things. Making sure that currently in your office things are staying up to date, as well as in your professional point of view, where you're reading or learning or researching different types of things,
or listening to the Insurance Bro Show podcast.
Make sure you do that. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, right? Drop that.
That's right. That's right. Boom. There it is. Subscribe, rate, review. All right. Last one. Number 5. Think defensively. Look, we are insurance agents. Our entire job revolves around thinking about liability risks, right? What is the liability? What is the potential risk? Man, I remember a couple years ago, we had that really great rainy season, and I went on a ride on the Harley, and Vanessa was with me on the back, and we're going through on the 52, right over there in Mira Mesa area, and those hills, Mission Hill, is it Mission Hills? No,
you're talking about there by Camp Pendleton?
No, where we go hiking. Anyway, dang, can't think of it. But anyway, so those hills, they're green,
They were
right? Like
lush.
it looks like friggin' Ireland out there. It's so green and beautiful. And I'm out there riding along and just enjoying it. And then all of a sudden my insurance brain kicks in and I'm like, damn, this is gonna suck when it turns brown. And sure enough, we had one of the worst, I think this was 2017. We had one of the worst fire seasons. Like 2020 was worse, I think now, but 2017 was really bad that year too. And that's that defensive mind. That's the brain on liability risk. And that's where your brain needs to be when you're running your business as well. Maintain that defensive attitude, right? Understand that anything that you say or don't say can be used against you. So use as many tools as you possibly can to keep as much record of things that you can. You are required in the state of California to maintain records for policies for up to 5 years, right? They're not going to go after you past 5 years. So make sure that you're thinking of all of those things and hold on to all those records because you never know what might come up. Documentation is huge. If you don't have documents on file, sorry, you're gonna lose that case. If you don't have anything on file, you're gonna lose that case. So make sure that you have all of your documentation. Make sure that you have copies of conversations, text messages, emails, all that stuff. And if it's a phone conversation, make sure that you log it. Your customer probably won't. Your customer most likely is not going to log it, but the one who's going to win is the one who keeps track of every conversation. If you are diligent and actually keep track of every conversation that you have with your customer, when you go into court, you're going to say, well, look, Mr. and Mrs. Judge, Your Honor, these are the times that we had these conversations. These are the things that we talked about. And your insured is going to be there saying, no, we said this. And you're going to be like, when? Because I have all of the calendar dates right here, exactly when we talked and what we talked about. When did we have that conversation?
It's the whole Judge Judy thing, right? Like
it is.
There's always that one that's like, well, this is my story and I'm sticking to it. And I'm sorry, well, here's the evidence on the contrary. Look, and here's the thing about legal battles. You should have money put away. You should be allocating money towards a legal defense. Don't count on E&O covering everything. Yes, you have a deductible, and sometimes, just like it happens to your clients, there's going to be something that comes up, and guess what? Your E&O is going to say, sorry, we don't cover that. Then what? And the bigger you become as an agency, the more successful you become, the bigger the target that you are. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you get sued to have a legal defense. And I'll give you a classic example. I mean, we've gone through this in Pipeline Insurance, our own agency, where one of the agents hired an employee, something happened, and we got caught up in a lawsuit and ended up spending about $50,000 to defend ourselves, something we had nothing to do with. But it doesn't matter. You live in the state of California. When you get sued, you're going to have to defend yourselves, and attorneys are expensive. So understand that you need, this is playing defense, right? Start allocating some funds away. And this is not vacation funds for savings. This is for you to make sure that the next day after this happens, you actually have a viable business that can keep going. So put money away, whether you have enough to have an attorney on retainer or not. Put money away for a legal defense fund and just let it sit there. You're going to feel a lot better when the money's there in case something happens, because eventually, as you grow as a business, as you grow your client base, as things happen in life that you have no control over, like COVID, these things are going to come up. And if you have those reserves, you're going to feel a lot better moving forward. So make sure you have that defense budget put away for those types of things.
Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that does it. 5 tips to avoid E&O claims. Once again, thank you to Agents Alliance for letting us borrow this article and talk about it. Don't forget, if you like what you're hearing, if you have gained value from listening to the show, please give us a follow, subscribe, rate, and review so that we can rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll appreciate it hugely. Is that huge? Anyway, follow me on all my social media at Insurance Bro Show. And if you want to be a guest on the show, go to www.insurancebroshow.com/guest. We'd love to have you on and learn from you. Thanks you all so much for tuning in. As always, love you lots. You rock my socks. You have my heart.
Have a nice day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Insurance Bro Show. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you're an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit www.pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com.